the verdict form to the bailiff so she could bring it to me. Thank you. And is this a unanimous verdict by the jury?
Yes, it is.
We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action, do make the following finding regarding the defendant Nikki Sue Melissa Entzel. Conspiracy to commit murder. As to the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, we find the defendant Nikki Sue Melissa Entzel guilty. Conspiracy to commit arson. As to the charge of conspiracy to commit arson, we find the defendant Nikki Sue Melissa Entzel guilty. Conspiracy to tamper with physical evidence. As to the charge of conspiracy to tamper with physical evidence, we find the defendant Nikki Sue Melissa Entzel guilty. Do either of the attorneys want to poll the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
I need each jury member to confirm that all three of those verdicts were their individual verdicts. And so we can start with 9 and go across. And do we have a microphone? If you would just state the juror number and then whether all three you found guilty for all three charges.
Number 9, and guilty on all 3 charges.
Number 40, and guilty on all 3 charges.
Number 5, and guilty on all 3 charges.
Juror 4, guilty on all charges. Juror 44, guilty on all charges.
Juror 29, guilty on all 3 charges.
Juror 18, guilty on all 3 charges.
Jury 14, guilty on all 3 charges.
Juror 30, guilty on all 3 charges.
Juror 1, guilty on all 3.
Jury number 17, guilty on all 3 charges.
Jury number 26, guilty on all 3 charges.
Thank you. And thank you, members of the jury, for your service. I want you to know that if you wish, once we're done with the trial, you can discuss the case with others, including the attorneys, if they contact you and want to know what helped impact your decision one way or the other or anything like that. You can. You don't have to discuss it with them, but you are allowed to. In light of the verdict of guilty, the court will be ordering a pre-sentence investigation. Sentencing will not be done today, but likely in about 60 days, because it takes 30-plus days to get the pre-sentence investigation. Although I will read this at the time of sentencing, I do need to advise Ms. Entzel of her right to appeal within 30 days of the entry of judgment, which will be after the sentencing. The judgment of conviction or the last motion, whichever is later, and the right to apply for an attorney if you're unable to afford one. So, Mr. Glass, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lawyer?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Want to invite the members of the jury to wait in the jury room. I'll come back and talk with any of you about your experience or anything, answer any questions. But you're welcome to leave if you want. And as for your information, like I mentioned, sentencing will not be done today because we have what's called a pre-sentence investigation to gather additional information to help the judge make a more informed decision when deciding the appropriate sentence. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate counsel's professional and courteous handling of the case, and we'll close until the sentencing hearing. Thank you.